Hi there. I'm so happy to be here with you all today with my very special guest, one of my favorite people in the world, Sunny Dawn Johnston. She is an angel communicator, a medium, an author. She has her My Spiritual Biz program, which is amazing. And her newest venture is she just created this amazing multi-dimensional oracle card deck. And it is like so amazing. There is no deck like it. So I would love to hear kind of what your inspiration was and what the deck entails and what makes it different than other decks that are out there.
Oh, good question. Well, my inspiration, boy, I think ultimately, if I was going to simplify it, the inspiration is to remind people and to help people to understand that they are more than just this 3D world, just this physical density that we see. And to know that because we are more than just this 3D world, we can access connection to the spirit world, our angels, our guides, our deceased loved ones, and the animal world, and symbols and signs. And so the inspiration really is to remind people that you are intuitive and you have the ability to connect to that guidance through help and support from a variety of different levels of beings. And it isn't just all about what we see and hear here. And I think that in doing that, it helps remind people that things aren't always what they seem. And sometimes what we can't see is still real. So the cards are great. I love them. They're different because I have never seen a deck of cards where it's in multi-dimensional levels of being. So we've got ascended masters, we have animals, we have numbers, and we have symbols that can be giving you messages to help you to develop your intuition.
That is so awesome. And I love that you combined all of them because they could really work so well together, which I think is amazing. And hi, Julie and Brandy and Sharon, I see here are with us. And what's really cool is so Sunny had her emissary team where we got to help, promote the cards and really bring them out there into the world, which is amazing. And she actually picked a card for each one of us. So she picked the tiger card for me, which I know I've been sharing, and I really love it. I was really excited to get the tiger card. I really connected with it. But then there was a part of me, I have to be honest, in my human brain, I was like, okay, I really connect with the tiger, but I really love butterflies. Why didn't I get the butterfly card, right? Even though I really know the tiger is a message I needed at the moment. Mm-hmm. So say if somebody is using an oracle card deck and then they get, a message and they're thinking, gosh, I really don't want that message right now. I'm not, they're not feeling it. What's the best advice you could give to them at that moment to really hone into that more?
I think sometimes what we need isn't always what we want. I mean, that simplifies it. That just cuts it right down to the chase. But the message that we need to hear isn't always the one that we want to hear or the one that's expected of us to hear. So I think a lot of times we need to, if we're asking for signs and symbols and messages from the spirit world, then we've got to be open to the messages. And they don't always show up in the form that we think that they should because they're here to teach us, not for us to already know.
Oh, that's such a good point. And now, what's really cool about your card deck, which I love, and I know maybe not everybody loves it, but all the card decks I have, I honestly never really pay attention to the guidebook. I always like to look at the image of the card and the message that it has on the card. Now, I know for your deck, you didn't have the guidebook with it. So what's really kind of your reason for not having the guidebook, and what do you recommend people to do to really tune into the card and that they pick? Do you recommend that they pick more than one? How can people really have fun with this new deck that you created?
I think that this is hard for humans to understand, but it's based on listening to your own intuition. And so there isn't a right or wrong way to use the cards. And the reason I chose not to have a guidebook is because I don't think that there's one book anywhere on the planet that has all the answers to anything in it. And so a lot of times people use a guidebook because they think they're going to go to that place and that's where the answers are. And I believe the answers are within us. And it's time to start reminding people of that. So the guidebook it's a great tool, and a lot of times when you're learning, you want some of that foundation. So we do have a guidebook that will be available online, so people can go to. But I didn't want to make it so convenient that it would be a crutch. And and I think that ultimately our intuition guides us to, if we need to do a 1-card pull, if we need a 3-card spread, it depends on, where we're at, what's happening, why it's happening. And the more that we can tap in and tune into that, then the better off we do.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so true. I love that, because we forget to tune into our own intuition sometimes, because we're always looking to others instead of looking to what we know and feel within our heart, right? It's just sometimes we forget that. And I think it's really important to remember that. So what gave you this idea to create these cards? I mean, has this been something that you always wanted to do? Because I know you have your other cards that aren't really oracle card decks per se, but they're really great. I have those and I love them. So what was the inspiration to do it at this time?
I think, after COVID started, I started seeing so many people be in a place of fear and worry and not knowing what was right, what was wrong, who to trust, who not to. Should I wear a mask? Should I not? Should I get vaccinated? Should I not? And I could just feel the energy was so palpable for humanity in general that I thought, now more than ever, we need to learn to listen to our intuition. And so the cards really are less about the cards than they are about teaching us how to tap into our own intuitive abilities. And so that inspiration, it's been there. I've thought about creating a deck for a long time, but that inspiration was really, it stemmed from that, from the crisis.
Yeah, that's great, because then there's so much good that can come from crisis. It's just what we allow it to be, right? We can let it defeat us, or we can say, hey, what can we do with this? How can we grow during this time? And how can we maybe inspire people more, right? To have that connection with ourselves. So it's great that you created that deck, so then people have that tool to be able to tune in. And was there so it has the animals, the symbols, the numbers, and the ascended masters. Did it just come to you to have all of those together, or have you thought about doing a separate deck at some point with just angels? Because I know you do a lot of work with angels. So
I've already created a pull a card deck for angels, and it went with my book, Invoking the Archangels. This, when I finally tuned into the energy of it, it was very clear. Like, it's going to be these 4 areas. It's going to be these pathways. And then it was time to just open up and let them come to me. So it was an invitation of who's meant to be a part of this deck. And then kind of one by one, they started revealing themselves as to what energy was meant to be a part of this experience.
I love it. That's so cool. And hi, Julie and Rachel. So what if somebody that's wanting to really tap into their intuition more, right? Somebody that maybe is just new, or maybe somebody that has been tapped into their intuition for a long time. What's the best advice you could give them for that? And then how can they use the card deck to really help with that?
Well, I think when you're in struggle, when you're in a challenge of any kind, what we tend to do is, first we tend to think about it and try and figure it all out. And sometimes if we can't figure it all out, then we feel like we've failed in some way. And a lot of times what people forget to do is ask for help. And so whether that's asking for help from another person or it's asking for help from me, I always just go to spirit first to ask for help. So the cards are the way to be able to ask for help that could give you the signs and messages that you need to hear to help kind of redirect your mind, so it doesn't just sit and spin in the same story over and over and over again, which is what happens to a lot of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been there before, and boy, it's when you can get out of that space, you can be so much more inspired when you can get out of that space. And now there's some really cool things. Now, this card deck, if people want to order it, when would they get it? And what are some cool things? I know on the website you have some cool things with the card deck, and people can order a print too. So I would love to have people know more about all of that as well.
Sure. Sure. So multidimensionaloracle.cards is the website, and basically there's a couple of fun things on there. So there's an area that you can order the cards. Right now it's pre-order. The orders will ship the first or second week of June. And so that's one piece. The second piece is what we realize is the artwork is so beautiful on the cards that people were asking, can I get this as a print? Can I have the image of this tiger or this, this symbol, whatever it was? And so we made that available in 8x10 prints as well for your favorite images. And then there's the pick a card carousel, which I love, where you can just go to the cards and you can just click and click and click and click until you feel like that's your card, and then flip it over and it'll tell you, what your message for the day is, whatever card you pick, because right now people don't have the physical cards in hand. So that's a way to do it that still gives people the opportunity to connect with that energy, and it's way fun. So so there's a lot of things on the Oracle on the Oracle card page that people can explore and kind of learn a little more about the cards too.
That's awesome. I love that. And I was so excited to get my tiger print. I did a little reveal when I got it. It's so pretty. And what's really amazing is I had kind of forgotten some things until I, really started to tune into that tiger print. Because over here to the left of me, I have this beautiful picture of this lion, and it has the same colors, right? And I'm really tuned into that. And then years and years ago, I loved the paint by numbers, and I did a paint by numbers. Oh gosh, I can't even remember, probably over 15 years ago. And the image was a tiger, and it was kind of similar colors. So it's cool sometimes how we can remember things if we kind of allow that space for them to come in and be with us, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love it.
And that carousel is fun. I actually kind of tested my intuition one day, which can be fun for people. I went and I said, I really want the tiger card. Let me pick the tiger card. And I really tuned in. It took me a couple of times, but I eventually got it. So people could use that as a tool to practice their intuition, right?
Absolutely. That's part of the purpose for sure.
Yeah. Now, so when you picked the cards for everybody, I know that, there's so many great people on the emissary team. It was so cool to see people come together and, want to support this, because there's no card deck like this. I mean, the images on here are amazing, and you can just feel the energy and it's just so powerful. So when you went to pick the card for people, how did you sit in that space and know which card was for which person? How did you know that? Because that had to be quite a process, I'm sure.
Well, I've been a psychic medium for 20 years and studied it for 37 years. So it's really natural for me to sit with people without any knowing of them at all and let information come through. So really, that's what I did. Is I tapped into each person's name, opened myself up to connect with their spirit, and invited the message in of what symbol or message pathway would be the best for them. And then it would either show up through an image, like I'd see it, or I would hear it, or I would feel the energy of it, or I would know. It came in all different ways for different people. So part of the job of a psychic medium is just opening up so that I can hear what sometimes other people can't hear.
Yeah, that's true, right? Because we can always hear it. It's just sometimes we may not want to hear it. We're not tuned into it. And hi, Lee. And speaking of the artwork, so I know on the website, something I forgot to mention is it has a video of the artist, Lucinda Ray, of how she created the artwork. And it's wow, just how she created that artwork. That had to be really great to work with her and come up with these images, right? Because you had the in mind, I wanted the elephant in the deck, or the 444 and all of that, right? You had all of that kind of laid out beforehand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I did, I mean, she's phenomenal. She is just phenomenal. And so what I did is I just channeled the energy of what I wanted the cards to feel like. And she tapped into that channel and then created the visual based on the energy. And it was an amazing, remarkable experience, but she did phenomenal.
Yeah, oh, she did. And boy, if you haven't checked out these cards, you definitely want to. And I love one thing in the card, you really actually helped shift my perspective on something and something I wasn't aware of. And I think it's really important for people to know in the numbers you had on there. You know, people always see like 1111 or 111 or 222 or 333 and 444. And we really, you know, just really resonate with that and vibrate with that. But you chose to put 666 in there. And I would love to, you know, have you share here with everybody the insights and why you chose to do that and the real meaning of 666.
Well, so when we were doing the numbers, I was calling in the angel numbers, and 666 is an angel number. And a lot of people associate it with negativity, devil kind of energy, low vibration, low frequency. However, and that is how people associate with it now, but that was never what it was intended to be. Actually, 6 is all about self. It's about sacredness. It's about connection to our spirit, and it's about sacred energy. And hundreds and thousands of years ago, that representation symbolically was positive. It actually represented freedom and spiritual connection. And then what happened is, because it was a number that was empowering people and it brought empowerment to people, there were certain people in leadership at the time that said, "Ooh, we don't want people to have power." And so they just turned it around and basically said, "Oh, okay, this is a bad number. This is a number that represents negativity or evil or the devil or whatever it is." And so that started to change the way people saw and experienced the frequency of that number. And so my goal is it's always to teach, it's always to educate, and educating that is not ever what it was meant to be. And it was just literally turned around to take power away. I love the symbology around, I love symbology, period. But I love it when we learn that an idea that we had based on a belief system that somebody probably told us doesn't necessarily have the same truth as what we were taught. And it's time to redirect our thoughts.
Yeah, it's so time to redirect our thoughts and to be internally empowered, right? Because sometimes we look for that empowerment outside of ourselves when we really have so much inner wisdom within ourselves that I think sometimes we forget it because we look on, you know, Facebook or on the news or, you know, what our friends are saying. And it's like we don't always honor the truth that we know is our truth for us, right? We sometimes forget that. So I love that you put that 666 in there to really inspire people. And then also I think a good reminder too is, you know, that image on the card, you have the guidelines of, you know, okay, you know, the tiger card, if I'm remembering right, I know one of the things is unpredictability, and I forget what the other stuff is on there, like empower. And, you know, I picked up, I forget the third one, but I picked up empowerment and perseverance and freedom for myself. So it's really tuning into, I think people can really use these cards to tune in what the truth for them is, right? Because 1111, you know, might mean one thing for somebody else. A tiger might mean one thing, or, you know, any of those things, right? So
just like everything else in life, you know, some people like steak and some people like tomatoes and some people like blonde and some people like brunette. And I mean, it's just different perspectives.
Yeah, it is. I love that. I love that you're bringing that multi-dimensional wisdom to the world, and these cards are just, oh my goodness. If you have not ordered your cards yet, you want to make sure to order them. And then I'll make sure after this to put the link in there for people to order them if they want to order their cards or their prints. And you want to make sure to check out the website and the artwork. I mean, it's amazing. And I think it couldn't come at a better time when people are needing that time to really tune into themselves, which I think, people are learning that more now, which is
For
good,
sure.
right?
Yep. It's time.
It's time. It's time to be multidimensional because we are, right? So yeah. So do you think you're going to have any other fun products that are going to go with the cards? I know you have the cards and the prints. Is there any other fun little things in the works to go along with the cards in any
Well,
way?
there will be, but I can't tell you yet.
Awesome.
But
Yeah, cool.
there will be more to come. There always is more to come with me.
I love that. That's so great. It's inspiring. So if people are wanting to follow you, you can follow her on Sunny Dawn Johnston. She has her public page. You could follow her there. And I mean, gosh, and she does an off the cuff every day at 1:11 p.m. Monday through Friday. I should say Monday through Friday. She has some great Facebook Live sales and her My Spiritual Biz community. I'm telling you, I joined that when it started, and it has literally shifted so many things for me. So I mean, you were just full of all kinds of awesomeness for people. So I think
that's very sweet. I just follow my spirit, sister.
Yeah.
And it guides me, and I take the step.
Yeah, right. And we could all be inspired by that. And I'm so grateful that you came on to share about these cards. And it was an honor to have you come on and fun. So what kind of closing message or thoughts do you have for people about the cards or about anything?
I think I would probably bring it more down to just self-awareness and reminding each of you that you are so much greater than this body, and that there's so much more wisdom within you than what you recognize. And it's really important to be open to asking for help and receiving it from the spirit world. And it's also important to be open to receive, period. Just be open to receive. When we're not open to receive, then the messages, the miracles, the signs, the symbols, they don't feel like they're there. Not because they're not, but because we can't see them because we're not open. And so if you ever struggle with attracting or bringing in what it is you want in your life, likely it is a challenge for you to be open to receive help, support, guidance, direction, encouragement, compliments. And that's always a great place to start. It was one of the greatest, most challenging areas for me as well.
Yeah. Oh, I'm right there with you because, we always kind of, want to come back with, like if, gosh, a long time ago, somebody liked my hair. I just got my hair done. I said, oh, thank you. I just washed it, or I just colored it, or I just did this, instead of just simply saying thank you. Right. Like, because we kind of take away from the compliment if we try to add too much to it. Right.
We absolutely do. Absolutely. We do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is such an important reminder. I love that. I think that's so important for people to be aware of. And then one fun thing, I just kind of want to ask you just a fun question if you're up for it.
I like fun. Go for it.
Me too. I love fun too. So what do you think is one thing people would be maybe surprised about you that maybe they don't know? Like if it's your, favorite thing to do or eat, or just, something like that where people might be surprised to know that about you.
Oh my goodness. There's not much surprise because I tell everybody everything.
Right. Or what's your favorite color?
Well, most people probably wouldn't think that I am a really sloppy writer. Most people cannot read my handwriting. So that might be something that I just looked at my handwriting. I'm like, yep, that's true. What is my favorite color? I was just asked this weekend. I have different favorite colors for different experiences. So if it's clothing, I like black. It helps ground me and center me. If it's like a color to like have like in an environment, like decoration and stuff, I probably like right now like orange or copper. If it's a color like to add to different like images or websites or things, it's probably red or pink. So it's different, and then it changes, of course. Mm-hmm. But orange right now, orange copper is kind of my whole bedroom's orange and copper. You can see orange and copper right behind me right now. So
I
I
love
think
it.
that's the color right now.
I love it. Orange is one of my favorite colors. My car happens to be habanero orange. So
Yeah, yep.
I love
Mine was sunburst. Mine was a sunburst orange until last year. So I'm with you.
I love it. And I'm with you on the sloppy writing too. I look at stuff I'm writing down sometimes and oh, wait, what was that? I'm like, angels, help me figure out what that was that I wrote.
What did I say? Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know. Well, thank you so much for spending this time with all of us here today. And I see you there too, Patty. Good to see you. This has been so much fun. And make sure to go get your deck. And I'm going to put the link in the comments after this so everybody can go and get their deck. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And thank you, Shauna, for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks. Bye, guys. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.